robots yet. Although I did do a video on Friday where I met some people that are developing things to make us more robotic. It's pretty amazing stuff. Not as scary as you think, but for people who might have problems with some of their vital organs, they can use micro machines to power them. It's pretty amazing stuff. Anyway, these are things you guys will grow up with. I won't, because I'll be an old dude. But really exciting stuff. So anyway, am I clear? Am I connected now? Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Awesome. What was funny is I just kept rambling on. I was like, man, those people can really stand still. It's just like a frozen screen eventually. But cool. Hopefully we can keep connection pretty well. But what was the last thing I said until I got disconnected? Anybody remember?
About what your experiences were that you never thought that you would ever get to experience what you got to experience.
Awesome. Yeah, so that is very true, and I've reflected on it a lot. And like I said, I would have thought somebody was crazy and insane to tell me my senior year, or right after I grabbed my diploma, that I would have had the adventures I've had, the network of amazing people I've met, and just the perspective I've gotten of our world, and also the great art and media I've been able to create, which was kind of my passion early on, and I didn't even know it. So I just got some photos that I'm going to show to kind of give you a glimpse of the coolest things that's happened to me recently. Then I'll show you a video from Antarctica, since that's my latest, I guess, adventure. But really what I want is, because this is what I would have wanted having been a senior, for you guys to ask me questions, anything at all, because I haven't just done filmmaking and media. I've also, right out of college, ran a software company. After that, a design company, worked for the university, a whole gamut of jobs and interesting industries. And I have a lot of perspective to give, knowing where you're at in your shoes. So I want to leave the most time for that, since you've got me there. I wish I could be there in person, but then I would probably be more distracted. And so without further ado, I'll just show some photos. Everyone cool with that?
Sure.
So I'm gonna screen share, Chris. Let's make sure this. So you guys are now looking at my computer. Hopefully I don't have anything inappropriate up, right?
What is that? It looks pretty empty.
Okay, cool. Can you guys see that?
Yeah.
All right, awesome. Okay, so this was a really cool moment for me. This is at Google's headquarters whenever they brought me out to help with Google Glass design. And this is actually the first photo I took wearing Google Glass. And why it's so significant for me is, some of you may recognize that spaceship-looking thing. That is the first model of Virgin's, the company Virgin, Richard Branson. This is their first galactic spaceship. So they're going to be the first company that allows, and this is going to for sure be in you guys' lifetime. Again, I'll be the old guy next to you on the ship, but this is going to be commercialized space travel. And if you talk to my mom or Cece or any of those older folks there in the room, they were there to see when we first were able to even get into orbit. And now to think that a couple of decades later, here we are looking at soon space travel, to where you can fly to Asia in like 40 minutes. It's truly amazing. And so this was a moment for me, again, coming from where you guys were, are in your shoes, to then being at Google's headquarters looking at the spaceship was really amazing, and seeing that science, technology, engineering, and math has led us here. And the people who made this were at one time a senior in high school. So I find that kind of inspiring. Here's the second photo I took. Of course, I had to give some love to Google, since they flew me out there and gave me the glass. But this was just inspiring for me, because I remember being a freshman in high school, and my parents finally being able to afford a computer for me, and pulling up the internet, and here I was looking at Google, and then again 10 years later or so, here I am looking at the monster that is Google. And I hope some of you get to make it to their campus one day in Northern California. It is the coolest thing, working atmosphere. It feels like a college, but very innovative and friendly, and just a really cool atmosphere. Have any of you, real quick, just say yeah? I can hear by volume. Have any of you seen the movie The Internship?
Yes.
All right, cool, cool. So funny comedy movie, but that was filmed 100% on campus, and it looks exactly like that. Some of the people are that weird and nerdy, some aren't, but it was a pretty accurate portrayal of their working environment. So then this is me with my current business partners, 2 filmmakers. We are eating at a Chinese place in Chinatown in New York. Me giving a thumbs up because the food was good. So I showed that because often when I'm wearing Google Glass, people are like, "What is it? Can I see it?" And so I found that when I would put it on them and they would videotape things, as you saw in that moment, they have a lot of fun. So a lot of why Google has me doing this is because of I'm an advocate, and when I meet people, I show them the technology so that they can decide if it's a good or bad thing themselves. Because the media tends to either give it a really good review or a scary review that it's going to take over the world. But when you show people, they get amazed and have fun with it. I like to cook. This is me cooking for me and my girlfriend. But I was also working on a recipe application so that you could wear glass, and even if you want to eventually throw it down in the kitchen like your grandma, this is a way you could do that. Then in certain ways, you can never throw down like your grandma when it comes to good food. So this is me in Belgium, and Belgium is known for its fries, and so this is me with basically it's like beef and gravy over fries. It's pretty simple, but again, I could never make this. Probably don't want to, but it was unbelievably delicious. This is me in Patagonia. This is at the bottom of South America, known as the most southern part of human-populated land. If some of you had CC in geography like me, I remember looking down at the bottom of the map of South America and seeing this place. Here I am with my camera, days before I embarked to Antarctica. This is jumping ahead a bit. I'll show you guys a cool video I shot. So wait, real quick, you see that camera? I'll show you the video that captured, which is pretty amazing stuff. This is the only post office in Antarctica. So lots of penguins, giving each other mail, penguins sending love letters out, and penguins just hanging out next to the post office. But I thought it was a really cool dynamic. You've got this massive nature there. Just a moment I captured. It's pretty cool. This is a penguin. She's a diva, really posing for me right here. We were shooting a music video, and she wasn't really having it. So her friends in the background were strutting their stuff too. But no, again, this is just a funny little moment I captured with glass as I was filming the penguins, which you'll see the video of what I captured here in a bit. All right, so real quick, let me zoom forward. So my mom and CC and people who know me will tell you that I'm a little crazy, all right? And when I'm in Antarctica and someone dares me to jump in the water, which is 1 degrees, that's 33 degrees Fahrenheit, just above freezing, and they're like, "Dude, you won't do it," and I'm like, "Yo, I'm from Texas. You don't know what I'm gonna do." So this is from my perspective, jumping in the water. If you notice, once I play it, you'll hear my breathing change, and I guess you can guess why my breathing's changing. But we'll go ahead and let me make sure this is everyone looking at me, and this is my buddy who I got to film me doing it, which you'll see the video of in a second. I'm showing everyone my UT pride. No offense, I got lots of friends from A&M, lots of friends from Texas Tech. I went to UT, so I got to rep that orange. So I'm showing these people really where I come from. He's looking at me like he's crazy, and I think this is when I go. So let's Here's a moment into my head, my crazy head.
Oh, God. Mom's like crazy.
But right now, I am freezing my ass off. So this guy had done it many times before. He was one of the scientists. Cool. So anyway, that's inside my crazy head. Hope you enjoyed it. It was very cold doing that. Here's another video. So that was a moment of me standing on sea ice. Moments later, after a long hike, here's a bunch of penguins for you who love penguins. I didn't think I would love penguins as much as I did until this trip. They're amazing creatures. They all have their own little personality. When I said one was a diva earlier, like straight up a diva. Like they just like look at you like you are a worthless human, you don't matter, and get out of their way. It's kind of a fun interaction with them. This is a really amazing hike that we went on, where you're seeing me staring forward where that island continues. I mean, we went all the way. It was a 4-day trip where it pushed us to the limits. I mean, as you can imagine, the weather changes drastically, going from beautiful like this to 15 minutes later, it's a blizzard and you're staking yourself in the ground so that you don't fall off any cliffs. Then, recently, I got to go, I'm producing some content for NASA. So this is me inside of a space simulator. So this is what it looks like inside of the International Space Station. This is taken with my Google Glass. And I also have a video of me walking through, which was a really amazing experience for me. Again, as I have always wanted to go to space. Not there yet, but this was a cool simulation of it. So I'm pretending like I can float. So anyway, this is what it would look like inside of a space station minus the floating part. But it's a really cool simulator that they showed us, and I was there videotaping it. Second, I tried to get the least graphic photo, but I'm also working with Google on implementing Google Glass for surgical uses so that a surgeon can have access to data right in front of their face when they're operating, therefore increasing safety and efficiency. And this was an open heart surgery for a 3-year-old girl, and it was a 16-hour process. I was there the whole time. Really changes your perspective of human life and how amazing it is, how far we can come to help others when it comes to health. But hopefully this is a great place with where science, technology, engineering, and math will assist the industry of healthcare, which I found fascinating. This is me shooting a music video of a local band that's really blown up. Again, I use Google here when I'm documenting music or movie shoots because I can have access in real time to scripts, call sheets, different takes. So it's used also in the arts. I use it when I go hunting in El Campo, Texas. You know what I'm saying? So, this is me duck hunting with some friends this last duck season, which I was interested to test out potentially the uses in hunting and gathering, using technology as well for mapping, safety, and recognizing certain wildlife so that best practices can be implemented for hunters so that they can truly serve their role of conservation and helping out the ecosystem. And then last, I eat some barbecue because I'm from El Campo. But this right here is Austin, Texas barbecue. I'm just saying. Look at that.
It looks good.
So let me switch it up real quick, and you guys can see me now. I'm back.
Yes.
Cool. All right. So what I'll do last before we open it up for questions, because again, that's really what I'm most excited about. I got a video I can show you guys of what you saw in those photos through my Google Glass of Antarctica, and I'll show you a little piece that I've edited that's going to be on the Discovery Channel, and a number of other outlets like Longhorn Network, which is the UT TV show, because this was UT researchers that were down there that I was following. That's the whole reason I was there. But they wanted me to make a video about my experience, and so I'll give you a little clip of what that was. 1 second here. Hey, Chris, I'll use that YouTube app. Is that fine?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. 1 second here. Okay, let me fast forward it. Can you see it there, Chris?
Yes.
Awesome. All right, so I'm going to fast forward a bit, guys, just so I can get to the questions, but this will give you an idea of the amazing things I saw in Antarctica, and also how cool cameras are nowadays, because they're truly amazing on what they can capture. Cool. So do you guys watch? Were you able to see that?
Yes.
Yes.
Awesome. So that's again, that's like 2 minutes of a little reel I put together. When in reality, I took like 46 hours worth of footage. So I've got lots of stuff to go through and turn it into different pieces. But all I can say is it truly is one of the most remarkable places on the planet. After many of my travels, nothing even comes close. But so what really matters in this conversation is all of you in the room. So I want to open it up to any questions possible, because
Who wants to start?
it's nice. We can take photos. I like this, man. This is cool. Let me grab my own photo, bro.
Yeah. Hey, well, smile real quick so I can get one for the paper.
Okay, let me do that real quick. All right, I'll smile.
That was good.
All right, you got it?
Yeah.
This is like a whole new world of selfies. Amazing. Okay, but yeah, I mean, any questions at all? I know what it's like to be a senior at ECHS. It was a very exciting time. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I probably still don't know what I want to do. But honestly, any questions at all, even if it has to do with academics, life, I'm an open book, and I've got lots of insight.
John, I asked some of my students to write it down before they came in here, so I'm going to look at some of these and ask you.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Are you going to do like the, Marissa from Live Oak Street asked?
Some of their names on there. Some of them.
Okay.
You can go ahead, Karen.
Hey, how you make money?
Well, so I'll give you this answer. My mom can tell you I've seen ups and I've seen downs. I've been in the startup, was making good money, and then also had to scrape by from time to time. But I can tell you how you do make money is making sure to focus on what it is that you're naturally inclined to enjoy doing. So, I mean, trust me, when I was a senior, I was working in a fish packing plant to save up money for when I went to college. So, was that something I loved? Absolutely not. But I learned a lot there, and I tried to be optimistic the entire time. So, I made money that way, but what I'm finding now is with all my mentors who are running very powerful companies and highly successful, you can't chase the money. Because the money, when you, like, we're all going to live our lives, hopefully, as long as possible. And either way, if you die young or if you die really old, you're not taking any of the cash with you. But what you are taking with you is a story and how you live that life and what it is you did that was interesting. And so, to me, I just want to have the most interesting story so that what I really had wealth in was experiences. Now, if you focus on that, you're more inclined to, like in my case in the world of media, because I'm absolutely obsessed with it and passionate about it, I'm gonna really work my tail off every single day. And if I'm working my tail off, there's a higher chance that I'm going to be successful, that I'm going to make huge connections, and then I'm going to become an expert like I have, and then people pay you for your expertise. You know, I didn't go to Antarctica for free. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, you're going to send me to a place that's freezing cold? Like, I'm going to get some paper, you know? But I was an expert because I invested in a lot of work, and a lot of work that took a lot of time, took a lot of hardships. I had a lot of ups and downs, a lot of frustrating times where I wanted to give up. But again, how you get money is by working hard, and how you work hard on things is hopefully doing something that you enjoy working hard at. So kind of a long answer. Don't chase the money, man. Chase experiences. Money will come. I'm not going to point, so whoever speaks up, you guys take turns, and I'll answer.
Anybody else?
I mean, anything at all. You guys are about to graduate, yo. You know, you got to have some questions in your mind.
What does the future hold for the Google glasses?
Yeah.
Well, the future. So I think it's much more of a broad view. What I've learned is because Google Glass is one project that's happening at Google. They have many other amazing things at their Google ECHS laboratories that they're coming up with groundbreaking technologies to improve our quality of life on this planet and solve some of the biggest problems like world hunger, access to information and internet by putting up Wi-Fi balloons and drones way up in the atmosphere so that we could be in Kenya or Antarctica and have 3G access that we all take for granted now when we're in El Campo or Austin or New York, wherever it is. So what Google Glass holds is potentially a world where you can reference information much quicker. They're working on patents for contact lenses so that you could have that information that comes a lot quicker. So at the root of Google Glass is just rethinking how quickly we can access information. Google, at the end of the day, is an information company, right? That's what they provide. That's their product, is information. We all use it by typing in whatever it is we want to research, and it's quick at giving us options in a list. Well, what Google Glass does is speeds up that process even faster, so that if I need to reference something, that information comes immediately, and it's already right in front of my face. So that if you and I were to stand next to each other, you had a laptop with the traditional Google web page, and I have Google Glass. I'm on average going to say, let's say, access that information 60% times faster. So that little individual moment may not be that significant, but if you apply that to a large productive society, all of a sudden we're boosting forward in 10 years in advance in terms of breakthroughs and innovations, right? Because we can access information even quicker. So the future of it, to me, is a much larger scale. There's going to be lots of companies, and there already is, that are building what's called wearables And all wearables are doing is just the speed of when you get information that you really need, so that whether you're a mechanic and you're working on a car, you don't have to look through a manual full of papers or search through a bunch of web pages. You just ask it. It knows what you're looking at, and then it can assist you. Or if you're a surgeon, you get all the patient's information right in front of you. Or if you're like me, trying to throw it down in the kitchen to impress some ladies, I got recipes on my eyeballs. You know, that's a whole nother level. So the future is really cool for it. It's the early days. What it's going to be in 2 years is going to be something I probably can't even imagine. So at the root, though, it's just rethinking access to information, and I think that's a very positive thing for humanity.
Do you have the Google Glass there that you can put on and show us?
All right, you guys ready? I'm going to turn into a robot. Anyway, here's the current version of Google Glass. Let me take a picture. Okay, Glass. Take a picture. Everyone smile. Got it. So yeah, this is the current version, but every couple of months, new things are being developed on it, and the end goal is it'll eventually just look like a pair of glasses, so that I don't look like a Star Trek character. Anyway, so Google Glass, cool thing, but again, it's the early days of this future technology, and all of you will be able to work with and potentially develop things on more powerful platforms than Google Glass. But the direction, like I said, is very exciting, and hopefully will leave us walking around where people don't think I'm some kind of like sci-fi movie fan or something. But it's cool stuff. What about you guys are going to graduate? Any questions about that? Like, you got plans to go straight to work, you got plans to go to a 4-year college, you got plans to go to a vocation school, you got plans to, I don't know, move to Antarctica and try to figure it out? What's going on in your heads? These are the kind of questions I think are important.
Anybody? In the back, go ahead. Go ahead, Brian.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, go ahead. Go ahead, Jamal.
Okay. How do you get on a bike like to Alaska?
Yeah, I'm happy to give that answer, and you know, it was easy for me because it was connected to a cause, right? A lot of us have experienced whether it's family, friends, or friends and families of friends who have battled cancer and you know, either been successful or not successful, and it's nothing easy to see. And so the whole thing was a fundraiser for that, and we were riding for these people. So on a personal level, it was very easy for me to get up every day and just bike the 70 or 100 miles. Like, to me, that was nothing compared to someone who had to wake up and, you know, have chemotherapy, right? So that's how I got there. But I'll tell you, I was the leader of our team in terms of getting everyone in shape. Now, you would think that the people that we selected of our team of 25 would be folks that are just like avid bikers and like their own versions of Lance Armstrong, you know, but that's far from the truth. What it was is we didn't look at physical fitness when we selected people. What we looked for when we selected the riders was their passion towards kicking cancer's ass, and that's really what was the seed that allowed all of us to spend a year training, getting our legs ready, getting our minds ready, so that we could do it. And that's just a daily thing. You know, it's not like it wasn't an overnight light switch. You know, I was training for a year. I would come down and visit my parents in El Campo and cross my fingers that no one would hit me on 1300 as I was biking and training. But it's just, you can do anything. I mean, I learned through that experience that there's really nothing that can hold you back from doing things. You just have to prepare yourself for preparation and a lot of the hardships to get you ready for that. So the bike ride itself, to me, was the easiest part. I mean, it was a vacation. Honestly, I'd go back and do it in a heartbeat because it was an adventure every single day. But the year prepping for it, man, was really where you invested the time in the sweat and the anticipation. I mean, you put in all this time, and you're like, well, where's my ride, right? Because that's all you want to go on. And so I take it as a symbolic representation of anything in life. So if your end goal is to run a software company, if your end goal is to be a music producer, if your end goal is to be a heart surgeon, whatever it is, you got to put in your time. You got to start developing skills, experiences, failures, most importantly, and also a network of people to eventually get you to that spot. So just as I prepped to go on this ride, and the next thing I knew, I was in Anchorage, Alaska. I've also done in my career where I didn't know what the hell I was doing with the camera right when I was in El Campo High School on the weekends, just experimenting with filmmaking. And now I do know what I'm doing, and people pay me to do it. But I have to put in that time, man. So that's how you do it. That's how the hell I got there, was just by taking a daily approach to just getting better at being on the bike. And I've also implemented that in all aspects of my life. So that's my recommendation.
Okay, sir.
Good question. Also, man, you got to make sure you get you some like some Vaseline for your butt. You know what I'm saying? Like, I learned real quick that a little Vaseline goes a long way when you're riding a bike to Alaska.
John,
Wow.
how did you know that you wanted to go into video and film? Where did you first get like that kind of stuff?
Well, at the time, I just enjoyed. There's a lot of answers to that, but I'll tell you what how I've been answering that when I've been at speaking engagements. And I realized it was something that I probably needed to focus on because it was something that I was naturally good at. Filmmaking is people, especially in my realm of documentary filmmaking. You just interact with people all day, and I love that. And I love hearing somebody's story and trying to give it the most fair representation possible on both sides. And so I loved interacting with people. When I interacted with the camera, I just understood it. I enjoyed editing. A lot of people hate editing. Again, I realized that this was something that I never like I never had like a dreaded feeling of, oh, I have to go work on this. I was excited to do it, and I found that because of that, you'll put in all that time to do it. And I'm still searching. I don't know. I mean, I did software design for 2 years, and I enjoyed that. I built websites for a while. I enjoyed that. But I think passion is a thing that you have to also understand evolves over time. But at the current time that it is, I find that it's just something I obsess over. Like if there's a book or an article that comes out every day on a particular form of filmmaking, like I obsess on making sure I get it and read it. And other categories, I'm not so passionate about reading things. And so I think you'll know it because it's something that you geek out about. Like you just have fun talking about it. It's all you want to talk about. It's all you want to surround yourself with. And you'll put in the hours. Like you never count the hours that you're doing it. You're focused on making something. But I'll say, don't have any low esteem if you don't know what that is yet, because the only way you're going to get there is by experiencing things. So whether you're working a job that's not the best right now or you're studying a subject that's not the best, try to find something about it that is, and that can help you maybe start focusing on an element of it that is cool and it is what you love, right? So I had a friend that was in med school, was hating it. Like he felt his life was deteriorating because it was so daunting to go to medical school. But then while he was in it, he realized what he really loved was medical technology. And his exposure in med school gave him the relationships, gave him the knowledge, but then he had access to like current technology in the medical field, and he was able to realize that it wasn't that great and that he could make things better. And now he's a couple years older than me, and just raised a lot of investment to come up with fantastic new, very nano-sized tools so that you don't have to get cut up when you have a gastrointestinal problem. They can put you to sleep, but put something down your throat that can do the surgery because it's so small. But see, right, like now he's considered a biotechnologist, but he was in med school, right? But that experience led him to what it is now that he loves and he's good at, and he's making an awesome, successful career out of. So it's all about, when I said earlier, like invest in experiences, because you never know when one little aspect of something is going to be the niche industry or skill or job that you'll find. But if you're not searching, you'll never have the opportunity and potential to find it. So again, to sum it up, your passion evolves. Just invest in experiences and curiosity so that you open yourself up to potentially finding that passion.
What kind of music do you listen to?
Man, the real question is how much music can I play? So they knew me in El Campo High School as a guy that jumped from playing Johnny Cash covers to then Rude Boy throwing it down on the step team and making beats that would leave Dr. Dre a little nervous nowadays. Then also, your homie was the drum major of the band, you know, keeping the rhythm, keeping the Derby Dolls kicking. So, but to be honest, I listen to everything. I think music is an amazing art form, and each artist is expressing, and as long as it's not noise and just like hard to listen to, I think it's all fair, and it's all art, you know. And I respect artists because it's easy to critique people, right? Like you can listen to a song and say, oh, I'm not feeling that, or that's stupid. Same thing about films. But at the end of the day, what you can talk mess about an artist, but at the end of the day, they created and you didn't. So I respect all music. I respect all art form, and I make sure that I don't criticize too much, because at the end of the day, that artist created, and I can't like knock that against them. But I listen to it all, man. I'm sure you guys use Spotify like I do, and every day I'm finding new artists, new music, and being a filmmaker, I have to always be open-minded to different types of music, because you know, when I have a documentary, I need to think about different types of music to play for it. But everything is the answer, man. You can catch me listening to Beethoven. You can catch me listening to some Madonna. You can catch me listening to some A$AP Rocky. You can catch me listening to some old Hank Williams Jr. All of it, man. It's all great.
John, what's your next future venture that you're looking to?
Well, hopefully I'm on the front seat of that spaceship I showed earlier. But I don't know if that's possible. But no, myself and some of my former business partners, we have a really good idea we're working on now and getting customers to launch that to a successful venture. But it's just rethinking the way the media landscape looks. So, you know, I grew up watching TV because that's the only cable access to content that I grew up with. The internet couldn't handle video so much as they can now. And so it's essentially just rethinking the way networks work. So you have like Discovery Network, right, which has Discovery Channel, History Channel, HGTV. They own all these different channels, but that's what we call the traditional landscape that you and I have to sit on at a TV and with a clicker. We consider that straight up old school. So our company is focused on the new school of that, which is in today's world of mobile devices. You know, my iPhone, my iPad, or my Nexus tablet, those are the new TVs, right? So we're just building a company to be like the Discovery networks of these new devices. So it's a big vision, but potentially has a lot of impact in a way for me to make sure filmmakers like me get their stories in front of as many people around the world as possible. So that's my next thing. And then staying involved with Google Glass and mentoring other filmmakers here in Austin is something I'll continue to do. But I won't settle until I'm on that spaceship, chunking a deuce.
Any other questions? Girls?
I'm an open book. I'm serious. Don't waste my time, y'all. Ask me some good questions.
My students asked me, were you able to use Google Glass underwater?
So I didn't because of the water temperature. So you can, but it's not recommended. It can last for a while. Yeah, I'd rather be safe than sorry. I use GoPros underwater a lot when I film, as you saw with the SEAL in the icebergs underwater in that video. But no, I don't recommend it until that there is a water caging unit, and I use it so much with testing that I'm not willing to risk, just because it would take a while for me to get a new one, and my work and feedback on the device is crucial on a consistent basis. So I have worn it in the shower. I'm not going to show you that video, but anyway, just to test it out in the shower, which to me it makes no sense to wear it in the shower, but I was testing it. But no, not. And again, it's not something you wear all the time, right? Like my vision of it, and this is my perspective. Some people might disagree with me as Google Glass users, but it's something you wear when you're working because you're accessing information. It's kind of like Benjamin Franklin rocking his glasses when he went to work, right, working on his inventions, and then when he went home and drank a bottle of wine, he took his glasses off because he doesn't need them. So I kind of see it as the same thing when I'm on film shoots or I'm doing business deals. I like having it on because it makes sense. I can access information. But if I'm going to go visit friends, go out to eat, go to a concert, I'm going to take them off, man. I don't want to be connected to technology. I want to be present and enjoying it. Also, like on my phone, I put that thing on airplane mode all the time when I need to focus. And because in today's world, there's so many distractions and content flying around everywhere. You got to be disciplined to unplug so you can get some work done. But don't go swimming if you have some Google glasses. That's my recommendation.
Okay, Martha asked, what is your favorite feature on Google Glass?
Well, obviously, as a filmmaker, I truly love just capturing videos, how the little moments you have in your life, like this morning when I was putting together a couple of these photos and videos, I realized, like, wow, like I've been documenting my life, and that stuff is backed up by ones and zeros in the cloud, and it's going to last arguably forever. Versus, you know, me and my mom when I come home, sitting, you know, all of the work we have to do to get out all the old Polaroid shots of me as a baby in my diapers doing my thing. You know, it's you could lose that stuff, right? Unless you digitized it. So I love videos because I get to capture my life, and I'll be able to share that even long after I'm gone. People can kind of live my life in a weird way, like a time machine. But the latest thing we've been pushing that is really amazing, and we haven't, it's still in beta testing, is what's going to be called Glass Translate. And so with the Google Glass on, I was testing it when I was in South America, where they speak Spanish, and then also when I was traveling in Europe, in Belgium and Germany. And what's amazing is I can be on the street, right, and I see like a poster, or I'm looking at a menu, something that is in words of that native language there. And in real time I can say, okay, Glass, translate this from German to English. And no joke, the way the optics work, like as you're looking at the menu, it's as if Google Glass turned the language on the actual menu. Because, you know, the way your eyes focused on glass, what it does is it, in real time, is snapping photos, imagery of those words, turning it into text so that the computer can translate it, and then feeding it back as English text. Sounds crazy, but it works. It's in the early stages, but to me, that's just like, wow. Like, what that can do for humans is incredible.
For me,
go ahead.
It'd be awesome for me to be able to communicate with my students.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, that's what I love about it is, as I'm trying to learn more and more languages, it's going to be a way to assist me with that. And I think the best thing for humans is to leave your country and see others, so that you can realize that we are not different. All of us are little bitty ants on this beautiful blue globe. And when you go to another country, you realize that their culture is not so much different from yours in terms of the basics of love, community. And so what I like is I can observe, instead of having a translator that I am dependent upon when I say, I was in Argentina, right? I have this technology where all of a sudden, it looks very much like where I'm from. And it has just as the same amazing people and culture elements, but now I can actually make an understanding of it. So that's a really cool direction that I think Google Glass will be able to help with.
Wait, Cecilia.
Yeah.
Taylor has a question.
Go ahead, girls.
with the Google Glass, do you have certain command words for it, or do you just say things?
Yeah. So as you saw when I had them on, we're gonna. I think the goal is to open it up to where you can customize it. But it's very much, if any of you have an iPhone and you ever use Siri, that like communication relationship is very similar. But yeah, I mean, the way I communicate with it is say, "Okay, Glass," and that basically wakes it up, and it's like, "How can I help you?" You know. And then there's base commands for things like record a video, take a picture, get me directions. But you can kind of tell it anything because it has really amazing technology, which is called NLP, which stands for Natural Language Processing. So that's a computer taking your audio and then turning it into words. And so it's really good at that. And so you can kind of tell it anything. And if it can't figure it out, what it'll do is just use Google search engine and then give you like, it'll read those couple of top pages that it found on Google and show those to you. But it's kind of like having honestly a personal assistant. You just talk to it, and a thing to understand is that what's cool about this direction of what's called AI, artificial intelligence, that's really what it is. That is all dependent, like the better it gets is dependent on how much you interact with it, right? Because eventually one day your pair of, whether they're Google Glass or some other technology, is going to be much different from mine because I'm a different person. I want different things from it. You want different things from it. But over time, as you build a relationship with that device, it knows you better and therefore can make more accurate assistance with you. So long term, it'll be completely up to you and that device. But for now, as a global approach, I think it's very effective at just understanding you. I mean, sometimes my Mount El Campo accent will come out, and it has a hard time understanding me.
Are there any other questions?
How many trips have you been on?
Man. Wow. I've been on a lot. And again, so let me just name a few. First thing I did in college is I had the opportunity to go to Asia, which was in India and Pakistan, and that was instrumental in giving my perspective of the world and compassion for others, and realizing how fortunate we are in the U.S. But then I've El Salvador, of course Europe, a lot of other places in Central America, Canada, Alaska. Basically, the last place I got to go is Africa. So I'm looking forward to making it there. But to answer your question in a larger sense, I cannot recommend traveling enough. It's probably the most important thing a human can do, because if you stay in one place, then I mean, it's fine if you want to do that. There's nothing wrong with it, but when you travel around, you see other cultures. Even though I studied it in classes like Cecilia's, when you're there in person and you meet the people and you're tasting the food and you're smelling the atmosphere, you're seeing the dynamics of these people around the world, it really, I think, makes you a better person, because that perspective allows you to convince yourself the way the world works, instead of depending on media outlets. Because media outlets all have a bias, whether they're conservative, liberal, or radical, it doesn't matter. They have an agenda, right? Because that's how they get an audience. They have one way to tell a story, and there's going to be certain people that like that story, and there's going to be certain people that don't like that story. And if people don't like that story, they'll go to the other media outlet to get their story. But if you travel and you research things yourself, you come up with your own opinion, like truly your own, not someone else's that was fed to you. You come up with your own opinion. And I think that is one of the best things about education, and like I said, best thing about going out and traveling and going outside of your comfort zone. One of my mentors told me I should do something every day that scares me. I don't mean like go to a haunted house or watch some scary movie, but like step outside of my comfort zone, right? What is there to lose other than become a stronger person from it? So I've traveled a lot, but I haven't traveled enough.
Any other questions?
What was your funnest adventure?
I would say, yeah, I mean, Antarctica's up there because I remember, actually, I reference it in this video. I have to go record the studios today, my voiceover for it, but I actually mentioned my my 7th grade class in Cecilia's class looking at the atlas and looking at the bottom of the earth. And right, like, I'm just a small town country boy, and I'm like, yeah, that's like another planet over there. Like, no one goes there ever. But then I had this thought of like, I wonder what it would be like. And then, you know, I went, and it's remarkable. So that was the most fun in terms of like man, maybe I'm the first person in El Campo to ever go. I don't know. Maybe it is. I hope, and I hope more people can go so that isn't true. But I will also say that I had a lot of fun in India because it was so different. It is like stepping back truly in time, because a lot of the cultures there are as if they were 600 years ago. And so, you know, a lot of the literature I would read about that place seems so, mystical and not true. And then you see it in person. You know, there's a cobra in front of you, and a guy's hypnotizing it. It's just like, you can watch videos of it, you can look at photos, but when that cobra's like looking you in the face, you're like, what? Like, and also all of my travels, again, as an artist, I try to meet other artists in other areas. So I was in Haiti hanging out with the Rastafaris, you know what I'm saying? And playing music with them on the beach, and seeing how after the earthquake, these people still find a way to smile and make art. It's moving. So I guess, again, another way to answer that is I've never had a bad time, man. All of them were fun, and I value all of them, and I wouldn't have not done any of them. I'd do them all over again.
Well, John, we want to thank you for your valuable time, and I really appreciate it, and I love you.
You guys are the future. I want you to know that, seriously. And if you have any questions that you're too shy, try to step out of your comfort zone next time, and give CC those questions, and she can relay those to me. Just because of my schedule, CC, if you do get a bunch of questions after this,
Okay.
just culminate those and then share them with me, like in an email or a Facebook message, and then I'll respond to all of them. But seriously, y'all, I was sitting in your shoes in '06, no smarter, no cooler, just one of you, and my life has been something else ever since. So it's all yours for the taking. Surround yourself with people that make you better. Don't surround yourself with people that are negative and hold you back. Life's too short.
Thanks.
Peace out, y'all. Much love. Ricebird repping. Chris, I appreciate it.
Hey, thank you, John. You did a great job.
All right, take it easy.
All right, you too.
Okay, guys, we're going to go back to class. Thank you, Chris.
You're welcome.
He submitted a
Just